Hey everybody and welcome to another Kalicube Tuesdays. Today I'm with Joseph S. Kahn and we're going to be talking about achieving harmony in your SERP results. Joseph is a musician, a drummer, so harmony makes sense, and there's going to be lots of musical references, and we're going to try to keep on SEO and just use music as a reference. A quick hello and we're good to go. Welcome to the show, Joseph S. Kahn. Oh, and you can do the when I say something funny, which isn't very often, you can go,
yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. This is going to be a fun show, I can tell. And I love your idea of harmony.
Right.
And it makes so much sense. You're speaking to me as a musician, and as I understand it, a lot of SEOs come from the musical world.
A ton. There's a ton. Yeah, we were just talking about one of the marketing directors for Rank Ranger. We talk about music all the time. That's all we talk about.
Have you got a theory as to why musicians become SEOs, or why many SEOs were ex-musicians? I'll bet you do.
I totally do. And I used to be a development manager for Microsoft, and I used to be a hiring manager for them, and I got in trouble. I know if anybody's listening, but I got in trouble because I used to hire mainly musicians. When I would look for developers, look for tech people, when I would hire them, I'd say, what instrument do you play? And if they told me an instrument, I'd be like, I would dig deeper and hire musicians. And the only reason is because back in 1989, there was an article that came out when I was in college that was talking about who made a better programmer, Mozart or Beethoven, or no, Mozart or Einstein. And the article came out and said Mozart would make a way better programmer than Einstein because music or programming is both creative and technical. The creativity part is what made it go to the next level, not the intelligence. So SEO and programming and language, that's why I would hire musicians, because to be a good programmer, to be a good SEO, you need to be creative and technical. It's a both. It's not a one or the other. If you're just creative, it ain't going to work out. But if you're just technical, it's not going to work out. But if you're technical and creative, you can be an amazing SEO and an amazing developer.
That's brilliantly put. And we had, there
you go.
Anton's so fast with Mozart
fast.
and Einstein. I talked to Marty Weintraub in a conference a few years ago on one of the podcast episodes, and he was talking about this as well. And he was saying music is structured, but if you play it in the incredibly structured manner that it is presented, technically, it's going to sound not very good.
It's going to sound horrible.
Creativity. And it's the creativity and the slightly off things and the thinking outside the box that's going to make your music great. And that's what makes great SEO.
Exactly. And that's kind of the theory behind it. And that's what makes great programming. And that's why that's why I was hiring people if they were musicians. And the funny thing about that is that, and this is back in the late 80s and the early 90s, the Microsoft conferences started having to have jam sessions.
Oh, right.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So, and everybody was wondering, like, why are there always these musician jam sessions at Microsoft, at every Microsoft conference? It's like, me? Like, because unfortunately I hired 60 musicians and they require that now. So.
Brilliant. Yeah, I was thinking you're hiring people to Microsoft, and out of those 60 people, you can actually make a pretty decent band. So you
a great band.
But the band never made it big.
No.
No. Oh, I'm sorry about that, mate.
No.
Anyway,
no. Hey, on the radio though. On the radio.
Ah, brilliant. Oh, the Microsoft band on the radio.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. You got a radio show, or just one song, or an album, or
many? There's actually many songs that the Microsoft crew created.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, how delightful.
And there's even some that are tech sing-along songs. And I was thinking that there would be that I should come with you, maybe Daryl, maybe anybody, and create some SEO sing-alongs.
Right. The Microsoft. Right. It's
the Microsoft band. Well. But imagine sing-alongs that teach you the fundamentals to SEO, where everybody sings the different fundamentals. When your title tag, you do this, and when your image alt tag, you do this. Like, imagine sing-alongs that tell you how to actually do good SEO. That's what we did at Microsoft.
Right, and then you would end up with this massive opus because there's so much to put in your song with like
Exactly.
500
Yeah.
On with the brand SERP. Let's put up
Yes.
the brand SERP. Your company is called Humjam, which is a delightful name for a company. And I pulled up
Thank you.
the brand SERP in Atlanta. And as you can see, you get the Google My Business, Google Business profile over there on the right-hand side.
I was praying that this would look out well when you did this.
No, I mean, it's good. It's got your site at the top. It's got your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, and your Crunchbase. That's professional, and your audience can engage with you. And you've got your Google My Business, Google Business profile on the right. And then if we go to the next one, I looked it up in the UK. And this is just a point I want to make, and it's nothing to do with Humjam in particular, but you still get the Google Business profile in the UK, even though there is no possibility from the UK I would be going to Atlanta immediately on that search.
Yeah.
And if people are interested in this kind of thing, join our knowledge panel and brand SERP support group on Facebook. You can just search support group, Kalicube support group, sorry, on Google to find it. But the point there for me is that what Google's doing is it's saying, here's some facts I know, so I'm going to show it, even if it's not relevant, just because I'm so pleased with myself as a child. I treat Google like a child. I'm so proud of myself for knowing it. I'll show it just because I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that irrelevancy is not a problem for it. But if you could get a knowledge panel, it would show the knowledge panel in the UK and knowledge panel in the US, except in Atlanta when somebody would want to come to your office. And I think that's something that most companies will be or should be aiming to do over the next few years, is get that distinction of the local for my office in Atlanta and the national international knowledge panel.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah, I'm not trying to teach you a lesson. I was trying to make a point about something that I find deeply interesting. And
oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, brilliant. Right. But today we're talking about harmony in SEO. Before that, quick announcement for the sponsor, which is WordLift. First of all, of course, join me every Tuesday on Kalicube Tuesdays, as the name suggests, if we can have the video. There you go. Join me every week on Kalicube Tuesdays. All these amazing guests. That was from 2021. We've got 200 episodes plus now, and it's always in partnership with WordLift, who are an amazing company, amazing people, super intelligent. With artificial intelligence, you need to grow your traffic. And today I wanted to present this, which is a humongous knowledge panel that we built for Jason Hennessey, with knowledge panel cards, filter pills up there at the top. That's what you want as a person. And we're releasing a knowledge panel checklist, 17th of November, 17 steps for triggering and managing a knowledge panel. And this is the really simple way, 17 steps to get a knowledge panel for any person, any company. And if you want to learn more about that, join the Facebook support groups, search Kalicube support groups on Google, come and join us. We'll give you for free the download and we can geek out on knowledge panels. So that was the announcement. I thought harmony in the brand SERP is, harmony in the SERP is incredibly attractive to me as a musician, but also I think it probably fits in really well with brand SERP. So what do you mean by harmony in the SERP?
And I think you kind of, when you showed it, and I was just looking at that, I was like, I need that thing that you were just showing, because Joseph Kahn, I don't know if anybody knows, but Hennessey, Joseph Kahn is the name is a famous person, Britney Spears. He's the Britney Spears DJ. He's done work with a lot of really big names. So I'm competing with a very famous Joseph Kahn. Like, there's already a knowledge panel. There's already, so that's why I threw the S in there.
Yep.
See the S?
Smart. Yep.
Because
Joseph, is it Joseph Smart Kahn? Because that is smart.
It's Joseph SEO Kahn. But anyway, so top SEO star. So if you type in top SEO star, you also see that down there. The reason why I did that is because if you type that into Google, I show up #1, topseostar.com. Just to show that hey, I'm also the top SEO star, because it was #1. I don't know if it is now, because every time I say that, I envision SEOs going after that to knock me off of the block. You know what I mean? But in any case, so harmony in the SERPs, and I think that there's a little bit going on, and I learned this from you actually. In I Am Gold, like I took your course in there and realized that I needed to shove everything on that first page, because used to, when you type in Humjam, it had this old band, it had all this kind of stuff. But when you just showed it, there was not a single thing on that page that wasn't our company. Meaning everything on that page. I think the first 2 pages of the Google SERPs points to us. It didn't used to be that way. And so when we do our clients, since we followed Design Rush, Best of the Web, there was like 5 or 6 ones that if we did some citations for our clients, it would shove down. They would all go to the first page in Google, and it would shove everybody down. Best of the Web would shove everybody down. Design Rush would shove everybody down. So when we say harmonies in the SERPs, I'm kind of playing on what you taught me, to be honest, is when we go after clients, we're not only going to try to go after the knowledge panel, we're going to do that stuff, but we're also going to go after these citations that we know is going to push everybody down the SERPs. We know that you're going to take over, and we're going to harmonize these various other pieces, these other websites, to take over that chord, as I call it, that chord in the SERP, so that you now have 3 positions. You know, instead of 1 spot, you now have 3 spots in that brand SERP. You now have 5 spots, like a 5 chord. You know?
And that's digital PR, and it's good marketing, and it isn't SEO. It's digital PR and good marketing. And the harmony idea is delightful, and it really does hook into the knowledge panel, because what Kalicube Pro does is identify those sources for you and identify where the harmony comes from. And I've never seen it like that, but I'm sure I could build that chord.
Definitely.
I was going to call it a brand SERP template or a knowledge panel template, which is for your industry.
We just throw the idea, the motif of the music in there. You know what I mean? Because think about it, velocity is based on rhythm. You know, it's based on you got rhythms that go along with when you do backlinking, when you do different structures. So there's a lot of musical finesse. If you put it in that thinking or whatever, that's kind of we can tackle and take on a lot of competition better and quicker and easier with the idea of that finesse, meaning the idea that we're creating a chord, a harmony, a song that other people want to listen to, meaning like the searchers. We're writing songs for the searchers. And I say songs, which is basically just that harmony that pulls you in, you know, pulls you into the message. So we don't SEO, we create music, you know, music for the mind.
Would the individual SERP be a chord and the search journey be the song?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
Yes.
So we're on
because you got lyrics, and you got you know, chorus, and your chorus is when you're at the bottom of the funnel and you're like, you know, buy my stuff. That's the chorus. You know, you're singing "We Are Lovely," you know, like kind of thing.
The lifting moment. What do you have for the middle 8? Is it the moment of indecision?
It could be, yeah, call to action, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But we also follow AIDA too. You know, music also has that attention, interest, desire, action. You know, that follows in the chord as well.
Oh, does it? Can you explain that to me? Because I was a punk folk musician, whereas you're a real musician. So I just went in and thumped it out. But there's actually kind of a process and progress to music.
Yeah.
Music for the mind.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. And as it blends into what we do in Hum Jam, because we didn't even say Hum Jam, our company was created because the humming idea is coming up with the ideas. I think the last guest who introduced me exactly correct. And that the idea is that we sit down with our SEO clients and we hum up ideas, you know, like what is that thing that when you start with the first chord in the harmony, we call it the first chord or the first note. I don't know if you know this, but the 7 notes are built on the 7 days of the week and built on 7 objects in the sky, from the moon to Jupiter to that kind of stuff. And it's all built on harmonies that control our heart. So if you're playing in the key of C, that's because you want a love song for the heart. If you're playing in the key of B, that's because you want to get down and get funky with your girl. That's in the lower chakra, you know, meaning there's actually notes that affect your body physically.
Right.
You knew that, right? Like, so when you create music, so when you structure music, the keys actually affect you from the 7 objects in your body, the 7 objects in the sky. This is all built around music.
But is that why some songs simply don't work when you change the key?
Exactly. Yeah, that's why they don't work when you change the key, because you didn't change the intention. So think about SEO. I mean, if you're changing and trying to do a different technique that doesn't match that particular thing you're trying to do, that intention, exactly. It's not going to work. Meaning you try to change the key, it ain't going to work, because that's not the intention or the niche or the thing that you're trying to do.
Right. Ooh, there are a couple of things there. One of which I really
Yeah.
like this approach, and I like the idea of saying, the key of this SERP
Yeah.
is C. You can't
Correct.
change it to D. You have to play in the correct key to be able
Correct.
to get on this SERP and get your place.
And depending on the intention would be based on the rhythm also, meaning it's not just about the key, it's also about the rhythm that goes along with it.
Right. You've thought way too much about this, haven't you?
That's
What,
all
what,
we think about. That's all we think about.
when you say there's a rhythm as well, I mean, I've got the chord, I've got my song, which is the search journey. I've
Mhm.
got the key, which is the intent.
Mhm.
The rhythm, what does that bring in to the SERP?
There's rhythm in all different kinds of things when it comes to SEO, from link velocity,
Right.
meaning getting the link out or getting the word out, or how when you should share, or when your email needs to go out. Like when we create a process, in order to make that chord, a lot of people when they do SEO, they only use one chord.
Yeah.
They only use one note or whatever. And so we blend it all together and get extraordinary results. Meaning when we do a blog post that should be harmonized correctly, so you got to have a harmonized. But when we do that blog post, it also had the velocity that I'm talking about is when to share that blog post, when to engage with the share on that blog post, when to follow that share and that social engagement up with an email that blasts out that also points to that blog post to further engage. Meaning when you couple the chords to the thing that you're trying to do, Google notices that. Google, the DJ, goes, let's cue this up to
Mm.
the jukebox because this is sounding good here. You know what I'm saying? So Google, I think of Google as either the auditorium or the jukebox. People are coming into in order to hear, and Google's not going to feature you unless you're singing good stuff.
Right. Okay. So yeah,
And even if you didn't sing good stuff and Google did place you there and it performed horribly, Google's going to go, we're not putting them in the auditorium next week.
very good point. Yeah. No, I was
Yeah.
thinking about kind of if Google were tone deaf, but it's not, so that's not a point. But does that mean that your clients need to be musicians? Because I'm a musician, so
No.
I think, wow, yeah, this speaks to me. Does this speak to everybody, or do you actually have to have some kind of musical background?
What does everybody enjoy happy birthday? Does
I,
everybody
well,
get happy birthday sung to them?
yeah, they do. I would
And
imagine.
everybody receives it well. I don't think I've ever seen anybody receive a happy birthday sung to them where they weren't receiving it well.
Right.
And that's
Okay.
because it's in the key of C, and there's 5 chords in happy birthday that are meant to manipulate you in a happy way. People
Right.
don't
I
know
heard.
that, but happy birthday was written in a series of chords to manipulate your physical body.
Right. I heard that Happy Birthday was written by a school teacher in America.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure why that's important, but it was a lady in America who's a school teacher who wrote it for her kid or the kids in the school, and then never got any credit for it.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it was written to elicit feelings or
Right.
the feelings. And so when you sing it in the key or whatever, it elicits those feelings, not just because of the words, but
Right. Well,
because of the key, the rhythm, the everything that goes along with it is in harmony with you on your birthday.
ooh, this actually might explain. I mean, I've written loads of songs, and some of
Mhm.
them are very good, I think, and some of them are very bad. And I get the feeling the very bad ones might just be in the wrong key.
They could be. They could be. They
The
could be.
intent of my song isn't reflected in the key, but I choose the key because I can sing in that key.
Right. A lot of people will.
So I'm
Music is
fighting the intent.
transposable. Yeah, music is transposable, but not everything is. Same way for SEO. You can
Right.
transpose a lot of different stuff around, but some things you can't.
And oh, and that also comes in is that the transposition idea is that we've got the elements within our SEO. We can't use them all on each client, and we can't use them all in the same way, even if we are using the same ones across different clients. Each client, the way that that melody fits together, that chord and that song and that
Is
rhythm
unique.
fit together is unique. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
That is correct.
And so you sit down with your clients and you have a hum jam with them at the beginning.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh, right.
Yep.
The composers were Mildred J. Hill and Patty Hill, two sisters, in
Nice.
fact. Anton's come up with that piece of information from Wikipedia by searching on Google.
And if you
Genius.
urban dictionary hum jam, you'll see what that is too, which is basically a humming a tune or coming up with a tune just by humming. Like when you go da 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 da, like musicians are always coming up with ideas. They hum them. And I used to have a recorder. I'd hum in my recorder, and then I'd take it to band practice and go, "What do you think about this?" And they'd look at me like, "Mm-mm," and I'm like, "Okay," you know, like, they'd look at me like, "You're the drummer, like, be quiet." And I'm like, "No, but I'm got papers. I'm a legitimate musician." It's always a struggle for drummers to explain. I can understand chords.
Right. Yeah. And there is a tendency for us to think the drummer isn't a good musician. And I cited,
Yeah.
oh, who did I cite? Oh, I've forgotten what his name is.
The drummer?
Phil Collins.
Yeah, I was about to say Phil Collins.
And yeah, I mean, he writes songs that are very popular. He writes songs that are very
There you
catchy. Anton's just put up Hum Jam, a spontaneous but awesome jam created by humming.
And legitimately, that screenshot right there was the screenshot that got the name of our company.
Oh, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I was like, they was like, "What do you want to call your new SEO company?" I was like, "What is that thing that you hum around, that you're humming and coming up with things?" And there, and I think our CEO put it in the urban, and that was, it's Hum Jam. This is, I'm like, and then I looked and saw that it was an expired domain from 2019, and I instantly grabbed it up, instantly.
Right.
It was almost magical. It's like the magical, you know, when you hear that love from heaven, that's what happened.
Brilliant. Here's a question. You snapped up a domain that had expired. Did you recover any strange accounts? Because I got Jason Barnard when somebody else let it expire.
Yeah.
I then tried to buy something on Vistaprint. And when I logged in, it said, you've already got an account. So I got the password reset and I logged into this guy's account and saw all his past orders and his credit card. And so when you've got a domain, especially a personal domain, be very careful, because you can actually give somebody else access to all that stuff.
Yeah, totally. That's crazy. But Hum Jam, there was only a couple of backlinks from back in the day. That was the only thing.
Oh,
but
right.
There wasn't any. Yeah. There wasn't any,
which could potentially have been untopical and created confusion. And
it wasn't topical. Yeah, it wasn't topical. It was an art project.
Right. Okay. And coming back to the brand SERP, you said you were getting rid of the results that weren't relevant to your company. You've now replaced them with very good results that represent your company, and give, when your audience Google the brand name Hum Jam, it gives them the choice of how they can interact with you through Twitter, LinkedIn, or your own website, or go to your office. How long did that take you to do?
It took us about, I'd say 8 weeks, couple of months. Because all we did was we went to a couple of different SEO companies because we did some competitive research, and I was looking at their SERPs to see what was showing up or what was coming up in the actual yes, thanks. What was actually showing up in the SERPs, or what was showing up. So what we did was we said, well, we see Design Rush showing up, we see Best of the Web showing up. We see, and so we captured basically all the ones that we saw from these other clients. And this is something you can do also with your SEO client, meaning you can sit down and say, what are your competitors? Do competitive research and say, what are your competitors showing up that's not your website? What's taken over the SERPs that's not your website that we can go after as a citation, as a backlink, whatever? It's getting two birds with one object. You know what I mean? Meaning we got to get some citations for you anyways. And we're doing this competitive research to go after citations that you should also go after, but we're not going after just these arbitrage ones. These ones, we're going after ones that will move your SERP. We're going after ones that will push anybody that's on your SERP down. And we know Design Rush will, we know Best of the Web will, and we have like 10 or so ones that we've seen physically move. So we can point to the client 2 months from now and say, you have more real estate on Google than you had before we got started. And the easy way to get that real estate is just going after the directories that you see on your competition that's taken over that. Go get those, meaning go take over and push. You do some pushing. Basically, you taught me to push everything down. And on your screenshot, on my screenshot, like I have more of the, I don't know what those called, the indenteds. Like I have a lot more indenteds on mine or locally than yours. But the indenteds, meaning you taught me how to get the indenteds and how to push things down and how to get other stuff moved off of that. And so that's what we do now. Meaning we don't just go after regular citations. We go after the ones that are on the first page of Google that are pushing everything else down. That's the ones we go after first.
Yeah, I mean, I call it leapfrogging, the idea of pushing up the content from below. And what you're doing as well is not only taking the better content from below and pushing it up, but creating new content in relevant sources. And at Kalicube, we call that entity equivalence as opposed to competition, with the idea that it's the same entity type, the same geo region, and the same industry. And we pump them into Kalicube Pro, the platform, and then it will compile the information. We've got an algorithm that runs it, and it will tell you these are the targets.
And
it takes about
great.
10 minutes. Literally 10 minutes.
Wow, that's insane. That's awesome.
That's the mad machine that is Kalicube. And I'm trying to convince agencies to come on board and use that, because it just saves so much time and it saves a lot of the guesswork. But that's a story for 2023. At the end of this year, I'm going to have Christmas. And
we definitely need to talk, because we have clients with many clients that could use this service. So we definitely need to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. I mean, for me, brand SERPs are really incredibly interesting, incredibly important, because as you were saying, when you're getting these citations, you're also building up the reputation, you're building up the EAT, you're positioning yourself as an expert and authority and trustworthy within your industry. And the importance of that is saying from your brand SERP, you can see that reflection of what Google thinks about you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're taking the courses in IMG Gold. You're one of the IMG students.
Yeah, I'm an instructor.
Oh, you're an instructor and you take the courses for free. Right, okay. Because they've got a huge amount of content.
Oh yeah, enormous amount of content. I have courses in there too. Like,
what do you teach other than harmony and the SERPs?
Yeah, actually inside of I Am Gold, I have a complete fundamentals course using SEO Power Suite. Literally from beginning to how to research keywords all the way to how to get backlinks using, how to do everything from complete fundamentals is in I Am Gold using the tool SEO Power Suite. I did it for SEO Power Suite. They asked me to do a fundamentals course for them. And so then they said that we could put that course in I Am Gold. So
that's great. So, just to finish off, talking about beginners, if I'm starting in SEO, how do I use your music analogy to get myself a kickstart so that I don't waste time on the wrong things and focus on the traditional, let's say, SEO approach? How do I use your harmony approach as a beginner to move quickly forwards?
Yeah, the beginner part, and I actually was a speaker at SEO Rockstars last year and talked about this very topic. And as musicians that in any beginner, what do you start with? Scales. Right. You start with fundamentals. You start with rudiments as a drummer. You're learning when you hit two hands together, that's a flam. When you're learning, so any beginners needs to know the fundamentals. There's several fundamentals that, I mean, if somebody just did the top 5 fundamentals, they would rank 80% better than anything out there. Because to me, the internet is like a third world country. The internet. When you look around, you see junk houses, meaning because imagine if society was built by DIY and Home Depot. Imagine if every of your neighbors built their own house. That's the internet, by the way. If every neighbor that built their own house, not a builder, they built their own house, that's the internet. So you got a ton of you got a ton of skyscrapers and buildings that literally have no plumbing. Skyscrapers everywhere with no electricity. Right. Meaning they don't have the fundamentals. So if you want to get good at SEO, you got to learn plumbing. You've got to learn the basics. So if you know the basics, then the stuff on top is just adding that extra flair. Meaning you can be a great musician if you know how to keep a rhythm, how to keep a chord or whatever. But if you want to be Britney Spears, you got to have that extra flair. So, but that's not what you're building your success on. You're building your success on the rudiments, on the scales, on the fundamentals. So I'd say that the beginners just need to start with the fundamentals. Yeah, the building blocks, the fundamentals.
Yeah, I mean,
what are those building blocks? So, you know, what are the top 3 ranking factors? Number 1 factor, search intent. There's no other. That is the top ranking factor. Search intent, period. Like, argue with me, anybody, but search intent. You got to know the searcher's intent first before you can do anything. So that's
right.
number 1 ranking factor. And that's the number 1 ranking factor for writing a song. Are we writing a love song, or what are we trying to do with the song? Who are we writing this song for? That's the number 1 ranking factor. That's the number 1 factor to a number 1 hit, is who's this for and why are you doing it and what's the story behind it? You know what I mean? Like, why should I engage with it? That's number 1. And so from a beginner perspective, I would say psychology, you know, learn how to interpret somebody's intentions. Learn how to interpret when somebody's asking for something, what they really want. In other words, we have a company that's ranking for HVAC services, but not on, but as a Wikipedia HVAC services. And people who are looking for HVAC services don't care what HVAC services are. They don't care what they are. You could have but what people want is HVAC services because my air condition is out. That missed the intent, meaning, oh, you're ranking for HVAC services. No, you're ranking for people who want to study HVAC services, not people who want HVAC services or need HVAC services. That's what I mean when they miss the intention. So intention is correct. So you go, oh, we're ranking for this, but we're not getting any money. We're broke. And then you do the SEO, you look at it and you go, oh, well, you're getting traffic. Oh, yeah, but we're broke. Yeah, because you're not taking them from the middle of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. You're not taking this intention and singing them the song. You're not Pied Pipering them down to the hole. You know what I mean? Like people, they have one piece, but they don't have the fundamentals. They don't understand the whole chord. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand. So you need harmony in the SERP, you need harmony in your business, you need harmony in the way that you're approaching your clients, and harmony within your funnel. That's a beautiful way to end it, Joseph. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to introduce next week's episode. If we can have that up on the screen, it's with Carly J. Cais, apparently, is the way to say it. I was going to say Cais. Spark your marketing with conversion content. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Could you pass the baton, Joseph?
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know if you remember, like, I was like, back in the day, you know, we used to like to get something large to go through something small. And this gal right here is an expert on what I'm trying to show in a bad way, but a funnel. You remember how you used to like take a piece of paper when your mom would like try to get sugar in a small, you know, little hole. That's what Carly is amazing at. She is a sales and marketing guru on how to make sure to get your funnels correct for your marketing. So the funnel lady here is going to kind of show you everything on how to do and get your harmony in your funnels, conversion funnels, marketing funnels, that kind of thing.
I'm really looking forward to that. Carly's going to show me the cone that you were trying to make that pulls people through that your mother made for you back in the day. Thank you so much, Joseph. That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Anton, behind the scenes. Thank you for everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week on Kalicube Tuesdays. The quick song, a quick goodbye to end the show. Thank you, Joseph.
Ba-boom.
Kalicube. It's all about your brand, SERP.